Morning. How are you today, Lauren?
I'm good. It's a beautiful day here in Durham, so it's a good start to the day at least.
Well, yeah, actually, it is sunny and like 25 degrees, but actually today is the first day of lockdown, so I cannot enjoy it, but still, we will. Greg, how's everything with you?
Good. Yeah, I think we're now in the opposite position to you. Things are opening up now, so it's things are probably much better from last time when we spoke. Yeah, so I think we've kind of switched over.
Well, yeah, kind of, yes. Omar, how are you? How's everything in Leeds?
Hello, can everyone hear me? Sorry.
Yes, we can hear you right now.
Yeah. Oh, that's fine. Yes. Sorry, I was on the phone. Someone else as well. Sorry. I just hanging up. But yeah. What was the question? Sorry, just I didn't hear that.
I just asked, how are you, and how's everything in Leeds?
Yeah. All good. Very sunny today. For some reason, it was heavily raining yesterday, but it's looking good today. So yeah, more optimistic. And bank holiday on Monday as well, so no one's working, so that's a great bonus.
Okay, perfect. So you have extra one day to relax after the fair.
Yes, sure, definitely.
Perfect. Katie, how are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. And again, another lovely sunny day in Hull as well.
Oh, nice.
I think it's sunny everywhere. Well, actually, today we are going to talk about the advantages of taking higher education in the United Kingdom, and of course, most importantly, the post-study work permit. So I have prepared my questions for you. Well, Greg, I would like to start with you. So what is the advantage of studying higher education in the UK?
I think it's the whole experience. That's the biggest thing for many international students. You've obviously got the academic side, which is the main reason for them being here, but everything that comes with that, the whole university experience, whether it's a campus university where you might have a student village feel, or whether it's a city university, you're still part of a community. And we really encourage, I think this is the same for everyone at every university, really encourage the international students to get involved with the non-academic side. So they get the full experience of being at uni in the UK. And it's a great vibe, it's a great experience. And in many ways, quite unique to the UK, certain things like all the societies or the clubs they can join. So for me, as a former UK university student, that was one of my biggest takeaways. And for the international students, that's what I also want them to take away, is the overall experience.
Of course, well, yeah, I can totally understand that. So, Katie, well, why would students choose the UK as their destination to study? So, what's the advantage of taking education in the United Kingdom?
I think getting a different perspective on education and getting a different way of learning in the UK is something that it's obviously different in every country, but I can speak for the University of Hull and probably for other colleagues as well, that it's really practical, hands-on learning that's going to prepare you for the next career steps you're going to take. We don't ask you to go away, sit and read a textbook, answer questions. It's so practical, it's hands-on, and really sets you up for the career that you're wanting to do once you've left the institutions and left the UK.
Well, yeah, exactly. So, Omar, well, you're representing an arts university. So, how it's like to studying arts in the United Kingdom? Well, we cannot hear you, unfortunately.
Yeah. Right. Can you hear me? Yeah, it's my connection again. Yes. Obviously, we're a specialized institution with arts. So not many within the country, really, just like what the other colleagues have mentioned. But to be in a specialist art, so the students that we attract are more, well, I'm not saying that they're not they're not focused as the other universities, but they're more focused in terms of what they want to achieve as an art student. So it's more vibrant, it's more practical, as Katie just mentioned, because most of our courses are just the practical element of it. The best thing about it as well is there's no final exams for them to do. So it's more uplifting for them that all they're doing as their assessments is the work that they're actually putting together for their final assessments at the end of every semester. to get their final grades on. So it's more hands-on, and everywhere they go, for example, in Leeds, it doesn't matter if it's in Hull, many of these cities or towns, they're rich in history. So most of our students tend to travel around to get that rich history that's been part of their project. So you're not just learning, but you're just enjoying the UK historical element as well. So yeah, I would say it's more enjoyable for as well. We just trying to make sure that the courses that they're doing is more enjoyable, not just sitting there reading a textbook all the time.
So actually, they're not only learning in the university. They're not learning only in the classes. They have the advantage of learning everywhere.
Absolutely, everywhere, traveling around. You get other arts students from, let's say, from Bournemouth, from London, traveling all the way to Leeds to come to our fairs, to come to the museums, to come to the different arts institutions that we've got to actually start their projects. You got our own students traveling to London, traveling to Manchester, traveling to Bournemouth to actually get the inspiration in there for their own projects as well. So you're right, yeah. It's the traveling around that makes it fun.
Perfect, actually, it's quite impressive.
Yeah.
Well, Lauren, you're representing one of the top universities in the UK and also like in the world. So how it's like being a student in Durham University in the UK?
I think it's pretty similar to being a student anywhere in the UK. We do expect our students,
of course, like higher education standards everywhere.
I mean, everyone has a passion for the course they choose, regardless of what university they're attending. And as Greg said as well, it's not just academic courses, but it's things beyond the academic, the wider student experience. And I think all of the students are just as passionate about things they do beyond the course as they are about the course itself. So in that sense, it's not particularly different, I don't think. As far as I'm aware, it's not that different.
Well, yeah, of course, but we all know that UK has world's highest class of education standards. So probably, yes, being a student in the UK is almost similar to each university, we can say. Well, Greg, could you kind of tell us a bit about like the facilities and student union and extracurricular activities in the university? Because we know that the education standards are quite high. So what else we can offer to the students?
So outside of the academic core, there's often groups, societies, clubs either focus on the academic side. So it might be a business society, or it could be something that's totally just for fun and maybe a bit silly, a bit stupid, like chocolate society or something like that. So there's a whole,
interesting.
It does happen. And anything, if there's enough students who are interested in a certain group, an interest, they can create society. So there's the social element to it, but in terms of other facilities, certainly at St Mary's we have Olympic standard sporting facilities which are open to any student. So we've got obviously a great range of sporting programs, but if you're not on a sports program, make the most of these Olympic facilities. They're there right on your doorstep. So, and for a non-student or someone outside of the university, it might be quite expensive. They might not have that opportunity. But for students, it's right there. It's on the campus. Olympians have trained there. National teams base themselves there. So make the most of the kind of wealth of facilities the universities have that other people they don't have access to. So
I quite envy that, because well, in Turkey we pay almost a fortune for 1 year of like a high standard sport facility. So but when you're a student in St Mary's, you can use everything for free.
There's a gym membership, but it's heavily discounted. So make the most of that. It's very, very discounted. So, big gyms in the UK are also expensive, but you can have Olympic level sports facilities at a very student friendly rate. So yeah, you're in good hands. If you want to increase your sporting prowess, you're in very, very good hands.
Perfect, actually. So good to hear that. Well, Lauren, I know that you have a college system for the students and an amazing student union. So except the academic success, so what else we can offer to the students? So what are the extracurricular activities and the facilities and everything?
Yeah, so you mentioned the college system that we operate here in Durham, which I think a lot of our students say is one of the things they most appreciate about Durham. It's a bit confusing perhaps when you see it for the first time, but hopefully most people have either watched or read Harry Potter.
Yes, I don't want to ask that. So this is quite interesting for me.
Oh no, I mean, that's the simplest way that we usually use to explain it. Essentially, any student who is a member of Durham University is also a member of a college. Now, in Durham, the college is
like Gryffindor, Slytherin, and Hufflepuff. So we can feel that way while we're a student in Durham, I guess.
I mean, our college system doesn't make character judgments in the same way that Harry Potter seems to.
You wish.
We don't have an evil college, for example, but at least not that I know of. But it doesn't have any impact on the course. So some collegiate systems do impact admissions and academics, but ours completely separate. So all the colleges have a mixture of different people. So people studying different subjects, postgraduates, undergraduates, people from different countries. They're dotted around the city. So they often have their own grounds as well. So if you're interested in playing like football or frisbee, a lot of them have attached grounds or a football field, for example. But they vary quite a lot in terms of their appearance. Some of them are really old. One of them is a castle. You get the full Harry Potter experience. And one of them only opened up last September. So that's all shiny and new because half our students have been sort of quarantined. So not many people have experienced that one.
So the colleges are just gathering the students who have the same interests.
No same interests. In fact, we actively try to diversify our college. So there's an algorithm that tries to make sure that they're as diverse as possible. So you get to meet people doing all sorts of different things with all sorts of different interests. But it does add an extra layer. So like Greg said, we have university societies like the Chocolate Society. I feel like we should get some inter-university chocolate competition going. But you also have a lot of events within your college as well. So you just have an extra option in a way. For an extra.
Perfect, actually a great place to socialize and meet new people.
Definitely. They've got a bar in every single college, so a lot of socializing.
Okay, that sounds interesting. That will take my attention.
Yeah, there's at least 17 bars in Durham, just in colleges alone.
I think Durham's a small city and just think, okay, that's good. That's good to know that. I'm definitely going to tell this to my students. So, Katie, so accept academic achievements and academic excellence. So what are like the other things we can offer to the students, like the campus facilities and extracurricular activities?
So University of Hull is quite similar to the other institutions where there's lots of different activities, both academic and social, that students can take part in. But something that I think Greg touched on, which is really key about student unions in the UK, is if there's something that you can't see, if there's something that doesn't exist yet, you can create it yourself. So at the Hull Student Union, I think you have to have 3 or 4 other members with you. So if there's a gap in the activity and a gap in the provision, then you can just make it yourself. Because student unions are affiliated to the universities, but they are run by students for students. So it's a really, really good opportunity to meet new people, socialise, share interests with people that have got common experience, but also those kind of management positions. If you become a president, for example, of your society, it's great for your CV to show that you've got that kind of experience, that kind of leadership qualities and the softer skills in addition to your academic work as well. And in Hull, we're, again, I think we're probably even smaller than Durham, but we have recently had to hand over our title of UK City of Culture. So before last year, which we had for 4 years, this title, we've had loads of different things to actually do in the city. They're all different free events celebrating lots of different aspects of culture, both UK and Hull's culture, but also the global culture that we have here in the city as well. So there's always something to do. There's always something to see. It's a bit of a weird and quirky city, so I quite like living here because it's just, you don't know what you're going to see. It's not kind of standard. So I think there's lots to do and lots to explore beyond the university campus and the kind of formal arrangements that are in place around your academic studies as well.
Okay, actually perfect. So Hull is a great place to be a student then.
Yes, definitely. And it's quite, like I said, a lot of the events we have are free as well. So if you're budget conscious, there's lots of things you can engage in without having to actually spend lots of money. It's really pretty to kind of walk around as well, which you wouldn't expect because Hull is not known for its kind of attractiveness as a city in the UK. But yeah, there's lots you can see and do. And whilst Durham's got lots of bars, we do fantastic cups of coffee. We've got lots of independent coffee shops across the city. So please try all of those. And yeah, it's so necessary. Couldn't function without it.
Definitely, yes.
So there's loads of independent places to explore as well, which is something that's quite unique to Hull as well, that we don't have all the big chains, but we've got lots of independent, weird, quirky things to be able to see when you're in the city as well.
Actually, perfect. I'm so happy to hear all of this. Well, Omar, so you're from an arts university. I'm definitely going to say this again and again.
Yeah.
So beyond academic achievements and academic excellence, so probably you have much things to offer to the students. So what else we can offer to the students? Like the fashion shows or art shows, except their classes, what are the students doing?
Yeah, sure. Just to touch on what your other colleagues have mentioned with these sort of groups, I think nearly every institution within the UK will encourage students to form these groups, but make sure that it's quite diverse as well. For them to be entertained and have something to do. So we do have those existing clubs as well. I think at least 80% of all these little clubs that have been set up have been set up by students themselves, but making sure that they're encouraged to join other clubs to get the whole experience. Coming back to what we do, we have something called an end of year show. This is actually run by all our students. So it's a diverse show in which all the different subject areas, for example, the fashion designers, animation team, illustration, wall building, they come together, put all their work together, and then we display it not just for the course leaders or for staff members to have a look at, but for the general public to come in for free. And then it's all taped. It's even part of our normal what we call Evening Post, which is the main sort of newspaper for Leeds. So it's showcased every year. So it's a fantastic show just to show the skills of what these students can do every year. So you see fantastic pieces, and some of them end up having contracts with other galleries to be showcasing their own work. So it makes them more enthusiastic and looking forward to the future of what they want to do. So that's one of our biggest shows. In between as well, we do encourage most of the students, so at least over 90% of the students have joined gallery memberships for free, in which they can showcase their works for free as well.
They need that since they're art students.
Exactly. So we make sure that all the different private galleries are showcasing these students' works, obviously, vetting them for free, so that members of public can go have a look at them. Sometimes students make loads of money from it because someone from the general public can have a look at a certain piece of work, they want it, and a student can actually make that sort of work for them and charge them for it as well. So these are all encouraging factors.
So let's say that I saw a painting that I liked the most, and then a student can draw it for me.
Yes, sure.
Perfect.
That's encouraged for it, because at the end of the day, we're actually building them up so that once they've actually completed their courses, most of them have aspirations to set up their own galleries. So this is where to start, and not just how to just develop work, but how to set up your own business as well. From doing your own taxes, this is all being taught through their courses as well. So yeah, to answer your question, we just make sure that they use their own initiative, free of mind. As an artist, you have to be free, basically. You're an artist 7 days a week. So yeah,
I definitely need to visit the campus and meet some of the students.
That'll be perfect. Yeah, we do encourage it anyway, just because of obviously what's going on through the pandemic. But normally we invite the students, not just them, but obviously people like yourself, agencies, to come and have a look, walk through the campus, show them everything that we are on about, so that when they actually talking to a student that wanting to apply to us, they can actually tell them what they've seen as well, rather than what they've just seen on site.
Oh yeah, sure, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, actually, before moving to the post-study work permit, I'd like to open the finance topic. So Greg, do you offer any sort of scholarships to support your students with like high academic achievements, or the students who is coming from a budget-sensitive countries?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's worth noting that although we're a London-based university, our fees are relatively low to start with. So that's quite a strong point. So relatively low fees, especially in comparison to London universities. And also on top of that, for the strongest students, we can look into £3,000 scholarships. So this is always done on a case-by-case basis. We do go on academic grades as a kind of base, but we'll look at the whole application. So we'll look at CVs, personal statement. If they're a good student but aren't quite meeting a certain point of the academic requirement, there's some flexibility there. So yeah, scholarships are available. Not 100% guaranteed. We do look at them to make sure they go to the right people. So yeah, but scholarships up to £3,000, we can certainly look into that. Yeah.
Perfect, actually. And with that 3,000 scholarship, it will be like almost below 10,000. It's going to be an amazing fee.
Well, exactly. Yeah, the postgraduate fees are 13,650. Undergraduate 12,900. That's before the scholarship. So already it's a good rate scholarship to make it even more achievable for price-sensitive students.
Exactly, yes, thank you. But Lauren, do you offer any sort of scholarships? Like, I know that you're a high-ranked university and like the tuition fees may be relatively high, but like, do you have any scholarships for like the high achievement students?
We don't
No, we don't.
currently.
I should have checked that before asking.
We don't currently really have any for undergraduates, although we are looking at hopefully being able to put them on for next year or year after. There are a couple of postgraduate scholarships, but they usually depend on the course. So we have some new ones in data science and energy management, I think. But they're more.
Data science is extremely popular in Turkey.
Hopefully there'll be quite popular scholarships as well. But unfortunately, we don't have any sort of broad scholarships of the kind that Greg was talking about. But I will say that living in the Northeast is a lower cost of living more generally.
Yes, exactly. So compared to the other cities, Durham is more affordable. So we can consider this as scholarship as well. Why not?
Living in the Northeast is just one big scholarship.
Yes, totally. I can totally agree to that. But Katie, when it comes to scholarship, probably you're going to be the most popular one for this year. So do you offer any sort of scholarships?
So we can start with undergraduate first. So we do have undergraduate scholarships available across a range of different programs that's up to £2,500 as a tuition fee discount. But the thing that we're most excited about, which I think you're referring to, is for any students wishing to begin in September 2021, the University of Hull has decided to hold the tuition fees for all international students so that they are the same cost as our domestic students. So
all international students are going to pay the UK fee for their postgraduate courses.
Yes, that's absolutely right. So there's a couple of exceptions around social work just because of the nature of the course. It's a slightly different programme. But our programmes this year start at £7,850 and the most expensive one we've got is £9,250. So it's a really exciting opportunity this year, hopefully, for a lot of students to be able to access that fantastic education in the UK and obviously at Hull, but for that lower fee. So why we've done it, because the next question we always get is, why would you do that? Because that's less money.
We all were wondering about that. When I saw that email, I was like, what? Why did they do this? Like, this is amazing.
So why we've done it is basically we've identified that both in the UK and internationally, everybody has had their lives disrupted, whether it's a little bit because of the pandemic or, like you said, you're already in another lockdown, as the UK has been. So we're trying to just kind of give an openness of opportunity to all international students who have had their careers put on hold or the next steps of their education put on hold. So by removing that smaller financial barrier, we're hoping that'll open more opportunity for students to be able to access postgraduate education and take the next steps in their education or in their career afterwards as well.
Okay, actually, it's perfect. It's such an exciting scholarship, yes. Well, Omar, do you offer any sort of scholarships for the students, like let's say who is bringing the best portfolio? Do you offer something like that, or like any sort of international scholarships?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, we do offer scholarships as well. Where I'll start with, we offer something called before the scholarship International Progression Awards. So what that means is, because we do foundation programs as well in obviously art subjects. If you do your foundation with us and then decided that you want to progress on to an undergraduate course, the progression fee is $1,750, which is $1,750. That will go towards the deduction of your undergraduate tuition fee for the entire 3 years anyway.
Oh, actually, that's really amazing.
Yeah, so that will come up. So let's say you do your undergraduate, then you wanted to do an MA with us, obviously you'll still receive that as well. So on top of that as well, we do have 7 scholarships available for undergraduate students, but they have to apply for it as well. Just like what Greg said before, they have to apply for it. So this is called the Vice Chancellor's International Undergraduate Scholarship. So it's £2,000, which is the maximum. You apply for it. Obviously, you can apply for it via your academic side of it, like what you just said, fantastic portfolio, or it could be finance issues to do with family issues. Put it all down, send it to us. It goes to our SMT, which is the senior management meeting team. Then they discuss it, and then they select the ones that they wish to give that scholarship to. The same goes to the postgraduate. That's a bit more money, so that's £3,000. So there's 5 available on that one as well, in which students then have to apply, and then it goes through the system, SMT. Then they approve it, and then it goes through. But the most exciting one is the Progression Award, in which is automatic anyway. If you do study with us, and it doesn't mean that you have to start from a foundation point of view. You can be an undergraduate student moving up to a postgraduate, then you automatically get that. But it also don't stop you from applying to get the either UG scholarship or the PG one as well. So yeah.
So it's possible to combine those scholarships?
Yes, it's possible. But let's say if you do get offered the International Progression Awards, it dampers your chances of getting the normal scholarship, because you're already getting nearly a $2,000 deduction of you just progressing from your undergraduate to a postgraduate. So I think it's more beneficial getting the progression one than the normal.
Exactly. Yes, of course, absolutely. Yeah. Well, actually, perfect. Great scholarship.
Yeah.
Well, so I'm moving to the post-study work permits, which the students are wondering about. So as we all know, the UK has become the top destination for the international students after announcing that 2 years of post-study work permit. But of course, those graduates are going to be seeking for jobs right after their graduations. So, I would like to ask you, Greg, so how do you define the student employability rate? So what do your graduates do?
Okay, so I would say we have one of the highest in the country. So 98% of our graduates within 15 months are either in further education or in employment. So 98% is extremely high. And a large part of that is down to networking opportunities that are available at the university and outside of the university in London. The work placement program. So almost all of our undergraduates and a good deal of our postgraduates have integrated work placements. So it gets them into the world of work.
Actually, yes, you need to have that work experience in order to find a job. So actually, work placement programs are quite a big opportunity for the students.
Absolutely. And combined with career centers, like a good supportive career center that can help with CV skills and things like that, all add to this employability rate. So,
do you organize career fairs or something?
Sorry?
Do you organize career fairs during the year?
There will be subject-specific events. So, and there's a well-linked careers team who can put students in the right direction for placements, internships. networking opportunities, and then they're always open. It's a dedicated team. So we really encourage students right the way through, not just to leave it to the last month before graduation, right the way through the whole course, network, make the most of these services that are there. So it's a great opportunity.
Okay, perfect. Well, Lauren, so how do you define your students' employability rate, like after their graduation?
So similarly, we have very good employability, and we're ranked in the world top 40 for employer reputation. And similarly to what Greg was saying, we have a really good career service. They're really dedicated. They're actually very nice. They do a lot of webinars for me as well, so I like them. But they're very committed to helping students with one-to-one interview skills, with identifying CV gaps and trying to help them fill the skills they might need. And we also offer placement years for almost all of our courses. You can do a year abroad or do a placement year. We also have a really, really committed alumni network. So a lot of our former graduates are very good at offering internships to students.
Actually, this is really important because like most of the alumni are working in good position in like such a big international companies. So if they're really connected to each other and if they're supporting the students of them, so for the students, it's quite easy to find an internship or find a job.
Exactly. Even if they're not looking at that particular company, it's also really helpful that our alumni come in and they explain what the job is, and they explain how they get that job, similar jobs in other companies perhaps, and it offers the opportunity to students to actually do Q&A, find out whether they actually want this job, which might be the most important thing. A lot of students seem to assume they want to work in business, and then it's quite dull. Well, not everyone, sorry. I'm sure business is very fun for some. Sorry. But yeah, they have the opportunity to find out what it might be like on a sort of day-to-day basis, and perhaps find other courses or the careers, that would be similar but more appealing for them. So yes, we do try and help as much as we can. And obviously, like Greg said, we're always encouraging them to start from the beginning. So if they want to do the placement, that would be in their third year, and they would carry on for fourth year. And we offer careers events, the careers fairs, or spotlight sessions with particular companies. I think we have quite a few of them per term. Obviously this year most of them have been online, but they're recorded as well, and students now have back catalogue that they can look at from different companies, which is fun.
Well, I hope next year we can do like face-to-face career fairs as well. Hopefully.
That would be more fun, yes.
Well, Katie, so how do you define the students' employability rate? So what do your graduates do?
So again, this is a common theme. We've got a high employability rate afterwards. So I think it's 96.7% within further work or study once they've graduated within 6 months. But it's I won't repeat kind of what colleagues already said, because I think the career services and those kind of services that we offer is quite a standard thing, and it's something that's at the heart of universities in the UK. But something I'd just like to kind of comment on is we try to embed everything, real-world experience and employability into the heart of the courses. So even if you don't do any extracurricular kind of careers work, which we would definitely recommend that you do, we do try to embed different experiences like field trips and things, for example, within the actual program itself. So one of the key areas at Hull, for example, is logistics and supply chain management. And because of where we're situated on the River Humber, we have got the port that's there, and we've got lots of different logistics hubs that are actually here in the city itself. So as part of your program, you will actually go visit those hubs, go speak to people, actually, like you said, Lauren, actually find out if you want to go into that job, speaking to somebody who is doing that role, and just try and provide as many opportunities to get a real feel for what these different types of careers look like before you actually embark on them once you graduate as well. So there's always lots of help, lots of guidance, and our academics are really friendly to support. Yeah.
Definitely. Perfect. Well, Omar, so how is the employability rate after graduation at Leeds Arts University?
Yeah, just like my colleagues, what Katie just said, I wouldn't want to repeat most of the stuff, but compared to other universities, because we are a specialist arts university, so our employability is normally based on more students wanting to set up their own business, basically.
Actually, so that's why I definitely wanted to ask this question to you.
Exactly.
Because like your students are graduating as artists.
That's
so,
right.
like how we can define that graduation, that employability rate?
Yeah, with the employability rate of that, we are, if you look at all the other specialist universities within the UK, we are ranked the highest because we've got over 96% of students finishing up and then setting up their own business within the UK, within Europe. Most of our Asian students are setting up their own art studios in China, in India. We've got lately we've got about 5 students have actually joined the casting, the writing teams within Netflix, and some of their stuff are actually within Netflix, in which we are showing students that are graduating or starting of what they could achieve in terms of creative writing or creative practices, animation designs, and things like that. So our employability rate in terms of even marketing, we got students that have studied grand designs, joining marketing companies as consultants to actually design products for them in terms of advertisements. So in terms of that sort of region, obviously we are ranked the highest. And not just that, the reason why we are achieving certain numbers is to do with the facilities that we provide for them to use, because we've actually invested over £22 million to set up new studios. I mean, some of the studios that we have in terms of film making compared to equipment that is used in Hollywood or Bollywood. So students are actually mesmerized with those sort of facilities to use as part of their daily routine in practicing their art. Some of our 3D studios are absolutely top of the scale, basically, for art students to use. So once they've actually graduated, they then use that focus to actually set up their own studios rather than joining a company. So, we've got these
artists.
Exactly. We've got a careers team that actually help them from the start. So not just from an undergraduate start, this is from foundation that they actually register with them. So they have monthly meetings with these students to actually go through what they want to do after their graduation, what they want to go as a pathway, helping them through that, how to set up their business. This is all part of your modules, like I've said before. It's something that we're very proud of, and it's just going to continue. All we need to do is improve on it anyway. I can't even see any loopholes to improve on, but the course leaders are there to actually point these things out for us to work on.
That's actually great. So actually your students are graduating as entrepreneurs at the same time, I would say.
Most of them are, because of the specialist areas that they're going into. But people that are studying creative writing or illustrations, they've been applying to marketing companies that are taking them on as either members of staff or consultants to work with them.
Great. So actually, my last question is about the COVID-19 process and your anticipations for the September 2021 intake, because most of the students are asking if they are going to be taking face-to-face classes or online classes, and how the universities manage the COVID-19 situation. Well, so Greg, how St. Mary's managed the COVID-19 situation? So how did you support your students during this challenging process? And also, what are your anticipations about the September 2021 intake?
Okay, so if we think of the campus, for example, there's a lot that we put in place on campus, like sanitization points, one-way systems, reduced numbers of students in classrooms, social bubble seatings in cafeterias, things like that. So for the students who are on campus, because there's a fair number of practical courses where students had to be on campus, we made sure they would feel as safe as they could. Take, for example, physiotherapy. Obviously, that's a very physical course. So yeah, made sure that students could feel as safe as possible there. For those students who had to switch to remote learning, some students even said they felt they had a bit more contact with the academics than they would have done before. So there's certainly things that we'll take from this. I think this is probably true for every university. Things that we'll take from this and put into hopefully a more normal year. But as for anticipations for the coming September, of course, the two main points are, number one, we don't know. Things are going in the right direction. But yeah, we'll see where we are towards September. But the main aim is to get as much face-to-face teaching back as we can. It's likely to be blended, but to what degree that is blended, we'll just have to see how the situation is. But yeah, the overall anticipation is to bring back more face-to-face teaching.
Well, yeah, hopefully, yes. We hope for that too, like face-to-face teaching. Maybe like blended is also fine. Like some days at the university, some days online. This is also nice for the student because, well, we don't have to be in the campus every day. We want to use the campus facilities, of course, like meet the students, enjoy a cup of coffee in the cafeteria. But at the same time, actually taking the classes online for 1 and 2 days at home in a relaxed environment is also very nice.
It does have advantages. Yeah, there's definitely been a balancing act with that. So yeah,
Sure.
we'll see what's worked, and then take that forward through September, when hopefully things are more settled, even than they are now.
Well, yeah, exactly. But it must be almost the same for the Durham and Hull, I guess, because like it's the classroom education, so it must be the same COVID-19 measures and everything. But actually, like I want to ask to Omar as well, because like since you're representing an arts university and the students need to be in the ateliers, they need to be like studying there, working there, and like doing their projects there. So like, how did you manage this COVID situation? Because like you cannot teach, I think maybe you can, but it's really hard to imagine. It's really hard to imagine that like studying fashion design online, like how am I going to find the fabrics?
Exactly. Yeah, it's been very tough for the not just us, but other specialist universities out there because online learning, yeah, it's feasible, but obviously the students need the practical element of their modules to actually pass, basically. So things have been set up to try and help the students, most of them, basically. For example, you know, there was a one-way system in which that was set up for students to come in and collect certain materials that they have to take back home to actually work on their projects that they're doing.
Oh, okay,
and,
so like we need to be in Leeds, I guess, because it's going to be hard to like do this in Turkey. So we need to move to the list, but studying online, we need to just stop at the campus, get the fabrics and materials and everything, and then take them to home, and then do the online class.
Exactly, and online classes. And then sometimes students can book private studio sessions or set up a bubble together. So that they know
this is really those actually like instruments and everything are really expensive. Like you cannot have the system at home. Actually, like you have neighbors.
That's right. Exactly. That's right. Yeah, that can't be happening. So the other thing that we do was obviously, because we know that some of these students need to come into campus to actually gain access to the studios for them to be able to do their work. There's an online, well, not an online, but there's a testing site that we've set up since the very start of this anyway, in which students have to go in, get themselves tested, wait for their results, get set up in a bubble, and then go and do their work. You get certain students that decided to go back home, in which we were still trying to support them by still doing their online sort of theory part of their modules whilst waiting for the practical ones to set up again. We're very optimistic that hopefully by September, you know, things will be a lot calmer and, you know, the specialist students can come back and start their work again, you know, face to face. But we are still preparing for the online part of it to still go ahead as well, rather than ignoring the fact. So it's going to be blended learning basically. But at the moment, we do have quite a few students that are coming back since the government have actually announced that, you know, for the practical side of it, they can come back. But obviously they are tested most of them on a daily basis.
Do they need to be tested each time that they're going to use the studios, the facilities, the studios?
Well, because they're in a bubble, the testing site is there every day anyway. So most students test themselves every day. Some do it as if when they come into campus. Some come on every 2 days because the accommodation side of it as well is very close to our campus anyway. So most of the Leeds Arts University students all live together in 3 different campuses, which is about 10 minutes away from campus anyway. So for them to come in and test and go back home and wait for their results doesn't take that long. So that's the best part of it as well. The students that the ones that are abroad at the moment that have to go home, obviously we're still liaising with them. Some have booked their flights to come back. Some are still waiting for the go ahead, but whilst they're still waiting, obviously they're still taking their online classes and still doing their projects anyway. But the course teams are in touch with the international side, which is us, to make sure that those students haven't got any sort of disadvantage to the ones that are here as well, in terms of the projects that they're carrying on. There's lots of things that have been set up as well. Students that can't go home. We've set up a welfare site for them, in which the international team, like myself and my colleagues, taking stuff for them in terms of food, facilities, even laptops if they can't get access to the libraries. So we've done very well in terms of supporting the students in that aspect of it through hardship. Even the ones that are abroad as well, there's been funds that have been set up by the Vice Chancellor, in which money has been sent through their banks for them to be able to get laptops, things like that, to help them facilitate their projects, so that when they're coming back, they can come with those sort of facilities as well.
Actually, perfect. Like, it's good to hear that the students haven't had the disadvantage of reaching to the materials and the libraries or anything. That's good. That's really good to hear. Thank you for all the information. So, well, our time is almost up. So before ending the seminar, do you have any message to the students? Like, Katie, do you have any message to your students?
Just come and say hello and ask any questions that you might have about Hull. And I hope you find the event today really useful and seeing what breadth of different courses are available across different universities as well.
Exactly, yes. Lauren, do you have any message to the students?
Same. Looking forward to meeting everyone that's booked an appointment. And if they have any questions, they're welcome to either approach on the fair or email us or get in touch in any way. We are just sitting here in sunny Durham waiting for your questions.
So right now, actually, I feel bad about organizing the fair today. I'm sorry. I'm not sunny days in the UK and I'm organizing an online fair. I'm sorry.
I know.
So Greg, do you have any message to the students?
Make the most of this event. It's a great opportunity to speak to a lot of universities in one space in one time. So we're all here to help. If we don't have a course, we can direct you to other universities. So we are kind of in this together as well. So make the most of it. Ask lots of questions. Do lots of research. It's a good opportunity.
Thank you, Omar.
Yeah, the same again.
Just stop right to the booths and talk to the representatives.
It's a good opportunity for them to come around and have a chat with every single university. Pick and choose, get the different ideas of what it's all about. And the most important part as well is, ask more questions about the UK as well, because, you're not just coming over to learn, you're coming over to live here as well. So you want to know where you're going, the environment, and everywhere is quite friendly, very, very friendly. And, I hope they have a good time. And obviously, we're all here to help. So,
Thank you. Well, thanks a lot, guys, for being here. Okay, so thanks a lot for joining us today, and enjoy the fair. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.